I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Perry Municipal Authority, September 21st, 2020 at 6:15. Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Here.
Bond.
Here.
Dillbeck.
Here.
Ahern.
Here.
Marshall. White.
Here.
Morrill. Wines.
Here.
Streller.
Here. I do declare a quorum. Brian, would you mind praying this evening?
Yeah, no problem at all. If you guys will pray with me. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and your support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion and allow us to grow closer as a group and to nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord, and as we make decisions that affect our community, and continue to remind us that what we do here tonight is for the accomplishment and for the betterment of our community and to bring glory to you. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You bet.
Item number 1 is the consent agenda. There's one item on there, the minutes from the last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Dillbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Item number 4, comments from those assembled pertaining to the PMA agenda this evening. Hearing none. Item 5, proclamation, commendation, reports, inquiries by the governing body. Hearing none of those either, we will move to item 6, any new business that needs to come before the PMA. Item 7, motion on the adjournment, please.
Motion to moved.
Did you get that, Dixie?
I'll second that. I'll second Bond's motion.
Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Dillbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines. Wines.
Jamie?
Yes. Sorry.
That's Streller.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Perry, September 21st, 2020 at 6:17. Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Here.
Bond.
Here.
Dillbeck.
Here.
Ahern.
Here.
Marshall. White.
Here.
Morrill. Wines.
Here.
Streller.
Here, thank you. I do declare a quorum. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. There's 4 items on the consent agenda to be considered.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Second.
One.
Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Dillbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 4, comments from those assembled pertaining to the items on the city agenda this evening. Hearing none. Item number 5, proclamations, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. I'd just like to say thank you to the Cherokee Strip Riding Club. They put on a wonderful rodeo this weekend, Friday and Saturday night, and they did a great job. Appreciate that. Some entertainment here in our town. Thank you. Anything else on item 6? We'll move on to it was item 5. Item 6, the city manager's report. Monthly update. Is Larry with us this evening?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay. I don't have his name on my screen, so.
This week we have 2 important milestones for projects here in Perry. Tomorrow we'll have a grade check at Camp 10 Daco Walking Trail. This will be conducted by the project engineer, the contractor, and also Eve Atkinson from the Department of Tourism. It's a very important part of this project to make certain that we've made good progress thus far. Also on Wednesday, we'll have a final inspection on the first sidewalk project, be conducted by ODOT and the contractor. We do have a few concerns in certain places along this project, but we hope these will be taken care of once this project is inspection is done. Mayor, that's it. Any questions, council?
Thank you. Bryce, is that what they're doing at Tonkawa? I see a project going on up there. Are they building them a sidewalk too?
Yes,
So it looks like a big project.
yes, it is.
All right. Thank you, Larry. If there's no questions for Larry, we will move to item number 7, the Chief Financial Officer's report. Meredith? Unmute your, oh, there you go.
Sorry. Hi. Russ had a softball game. He expected to be on by now, but looks like he's not making it.
He had a softball game, or his kids?
His daughter did.
Oh, okay.
She's a
I figure he's
freshman.
probably getting too old for that. He already walks with a limp.
I think the man can still hit a ball. They did
He's got to run though after that.
they have pinch runners.
Oh.
You just got to make it to first base. Anyway. Okay, I've got, I have August financials for you. Total cash for the city, over $9 million. We're at $9.2 million. We're up about 1% from where we were this time last month, about $100,000. Something I find interesting in your community, which is not consistent in all of my communities, is that your unrestricted versus restricted cash is basically split 50-50. You all keep, we have a significant amount of unrestricted cash available for us to use at any point, which is nice. But just an interesting little quirk I was noting as I was reviewing financials. So questions on cash? Okay. I'm flipping to the budget versus actual for the general fund. We're in August. 17% of budget is where we should be. But one thing I want to point out, the most exciting thing about your August financials is sales tax in the month of August, $200,482. $200,482. That is the highest sales tax that the city of Perry has seen since I went back to 2015, and it's the highest sales tax we've seen. So that was a nice boost that we needed. We were up about 27% from where we were this time last month. And use tax was around $38,000, which is also a nice bump from what we've seen this time last year. So anyway, we needed that. Other than that, our revenues are coming in pretty consistent on our general fund. Expenses are staying right in line, which is great, is what we need right now. We've got a loss of $157,000 for our general fund right now. Questions?
Is there any way to tell? I mean, I know you probably can't tell us, but is there any way for y'all to tell where that sales tax come from?
There's a confidential report that the city clerk has access to. She has kindly shared the login information with us, so we can tell, but it's not public information. It's confidential because it's about businesses. But there is a public report that breaks it down by industry. It comes out about 10 days after the deposit is made. So you can see by industry who is generating that additional sales tax.
All right, thank you, Meredith. Any questions for Meredith?
Hey, Meredith, I was wondering, is it the sales tax is up here? Have you seen that in other communities that you guys work with? No.
Not the boost that I saw for you all in August. I will say, when we did budget, we prepped for a basically economic downfall, like, everything was going to be wiped out, depression level things. In fact, we did about a 25% cut on sales tax. None of my communities have seen that sort of decline. But you all specifically had a jump that was more significant than I would have expected. So,
okay,
Brian, I can't speak to the jump. the amount of jump, but Tonkawa and Blackwell have continued reaping sales tax. Theirs hasn't really gone down much at all. And they're, I think they're speculating that that's because of COVID and people shopping at home. Is that not true from your read in Tonkawa, Meredith?
Right, yeah. I don't think anyone has seen the levels of depression that we were expecting in the budget. But I haven't had another community in the month of August that had a really stellar month like Harry did. And also they're seeing it a lot in use tax too. Most communities are seeing, the smaller communities are seeing that in a use tax situation because the local shops don't have everything that we need.
Thank you.
Mayor, before you move on, just one more comment.
You bet.
We're wrapping up audit work papers for the city. In fact, we're going to come up on Thursday, work through a couple of things. We'll get those delivered to the auditor, and hopefully we will be ready for an audit presentation by the 1st of November.
Thank you. It's good news. All right. Any questions for Meredith before she wraps it up? Thank you, Meredith. All right. Item number 8, consider awarding fuel bids. We have a couple bids. It's pretty typical of what we have every year. It looks like that Chemnitz Oil will get the bid on off-road use. And OnQ would get the bid for gas.
Motion to approve. Coldarn.
Second.
Lines.
Roll call, please.
Coldarn,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you.
I'll do yes too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You know what? I marked you, Brian. I guess I didn't let you say that. I just marked you. My bad.
I don't take it personally.
Item number 9, consider approval of ordinance number 2020-21 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, amending Chapter 17 of the Perry Municipal Code 2020 by the amendment of Section 17-202, subsection G, concerning the order of crediting the utility accounts, providing for an amended order of crediting, providing for repealer savings codification severability, and declaring an emergency. Dixie, do you know about this, or you want Bryce to talk about it?
Well, I know about it, but I see Russ just joined the meeting, and actually this is following Russ's input. So he's welcome to chime in, but we just juggled the list a little bit. We moved sales tax up to number 1, primarily because sales tax we have to pay out to someone else. So we can't be out that. And we had a few fees that were not on the previous list. One of the things that now ambulance is optional, and so we moved it down the list. We just made some adjustments based on what we felt was best for now. It's not a new ordinance, it's just a little bit of adjustment of what we had.
So everything's still on it. It's just in different orders, what you're saying.
Correct, because sometimes people tend to want to tell us, I'm unhappy with my water system, whatever, my electric. So here's my check, but I'm not going to pay that. So here's my payment for the rest. Well, that doesn't really work. We need to have by ordinance how we credit their payments rather than them dictating to us, I'm not going to pay a certain segment of my bill because I have an issue and I thought my water had a problem or my electric had a problem.
It's kind of like eating a steak and saying it wasn't no good, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing to remember, for the majority of those pieces, the fees are the very small pieces. They're not
Right.
very large numbers. If they're going to pay, $20, they're not going to get to keep their electricity on or their water on. You know, $20 isn't going to cover any portion of a bill. So, you know, that the whole point here is just to give us a payment order so that whenever the girls go to apply that payment, they know that this is the first piece, this is the second piece, this is the third piece, you know, that comes off the bill.
So what you're saying, if someone comes in and let's just use, for instance, $100. So if they come in and they say, I don't want to pay my electricity, I want to pay the other things, and electricity is first, it's going to be credited their 20 or $50 or whatever they pay on that. It's going to be credited to whatever's on top. They don't get the choice of what to pay, is what you're saying. All right.
That's correct. But another thing is sometimes they tend to want to say, I paid my electric, I paid my water, you can't turn those off, but I'm not going to pay the taxes or the fees or the whatever because they don't want to be shut off. So this is sometimes a way to say, I've paid that, you can't shut it off, and that is incorrect. You have to pay the whole bill to prevent being in that situation.
Okay, council, any questions for the city clerk or for Mr. Meacham that just joined us? Good thing you couldn't hear us. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nothing. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve ordinance number 2020-21.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kildern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Need a motion on the emergency, please.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Kildern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 10, consider approval of ordinance number 2020-20 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, amending Chapter 4 of the Perry Municipal Code 2020 entitled Animals by the amendment of Section 4-200A entitled Number of Dogs, Cats, Asian Potbelly Pigs Permitted, limited to the number of dogs, cats, and Asian potbelly pigs to 4 in the aggregate, providing for repeal or savings codification, severability, penalty, and declaring emergency. All right, council, about an hour before a council, or maybe I think it's closer to 2 hours, I'm sorry, Dixie emailed everybody a new copy of this ordinance. Did anyone not get it or not see it? There's just one really small change that takes place. These pigs can have litters, and anyone that's been involved around pigs, they can have litters of 8 to 10 to 12 little piglets. And we want to eliminate that happening in the city of Perry. We did discuss and we did decide that they could have these 2 potbelly pigs, but part of the ordinance, we want the pigs to be spayed or neutered so that they cannot reproduce. We are not going to have a pig production farm at your neighbor's house.
I guess my only question is, do we do any research to make, I know the last time we heard that they're better in pairs and all that. Did we do any research if you spay or neuter your pig, if that causes any problems?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on potbelly pigs, but when my father raised pigs when I was little, it didn't make any difference on the nature of the pig, if that's what you're asking.
One of the gentlemen that were on talking to us, they already had their pigs spayed.
Okay.
I believe it's the gentleman that lived here in Perry. I'll make the motion to approve ordinance number 2020-20. Is that enough, or do I have to keep going?
No, that's good. Thank you, Jim.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kildern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Thank you, council. A motion on the emergency, please.
So moved.
Second. Dilbeck.
Roll call, please.
Colern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 11 is consider payment to Wesco for $51,653 for the transformer for on-cue and a transformer for the new junior high and a waiver of a local competitive bidding ordinance in the public's interest. Do we know, I mean, I know we got to pay this bill, but do we know, are these reimbursable transformers, or is this something that comes out of our coffers?
The answer to that was the subject of some of my work today, and that is for your next meeting, I'm going to present an ordinance which provides that for commercial and industrial electric service, that all of those costs are reimbursable, or actually paid first by the business before we order. I mean, the transformer here for the school is $32,000, and I think it was more for the transformer for the other school, for the middle school, when we did that. And now OnQ has there has been a discussion with OnQ, and OnQ has agreed to reimburse the city for that purchase. But I want to have a policy set. I want the council to consider the policy to require everyone to pay those charges, because we get hit with just a whole lot of money. It'll take 2 years to earn back that which one of these transformers costs in net profit over our utility charges. So that's coming to you at your next meeting. So in simple answer, right now, I think the school is assuming that we will not seek reimbursement. OnQ has agreed to reimbursement. At the next meeting, you will consider a new ordinance and policy that will require front-up payment from commercial businesses and industry, and the way it's written, and from residential uses when the service is more than 200 amps, which only occurs in a very few situations. Brian Wheatley told me maybe 3 in the time he's been here, but he did think that would be over and above normal. Does that answer your question, Mayor?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Counselor, is there any questions about this, or you want to approve it?
I make a motion to approve the payment to Wesco.
And to waive the competitive bid ordinance?
And waive the competitive bid process.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Colern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 12, consider approval of payment of invoice totaling $1,350 to Monsoon Consultants for the Green Farm legal description and summary of the water report. Blaine Reilly's been doing some work for us, and this is just paying our bills.
Motion to approve the payment to Monsoon Consultants.
Second. Dilbeck.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Colern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 13 is consider reappointment of Bill Walton and Vicky Byer as the engineer and an attorney, respectively, as members of the Board of Adjustments. Their terms will expire this month, and they have both agreed to continue to service us on the Board of Adjustments. So we sure like to get them back on there.
Motion to approve the appointment of the two members, Bill Walton and Vicky Byer.
Second, Wines.
Roll call, please.
Coldern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Item 14, receive a summary of the City of Perry Municipal Water System by Blaine Reilly of Monsoon Consultants. We have had a request of a review for our water system, and Blaine has put together this. He's been working on our water system for years and years, and he was the best person for us to go to get the report that we needed. And this is just him giving us this report and us accepting it.
Make a motion to approve.
Second, Wines.
Roll call, please.
Coldern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item 15, consider approval of the notary REAP affidavit of completion with the security fencing around the wastewater and treatment plant project. Accept the project and authorize full payment of $63,233 to Harden Fencing, doing business as Claremore Fence. Dixie, this is final, wipes out the whole NOTA thing, right?
Yes.
Gets it off our books.
This will complete the NOTA grant. All I'll have to do is paperwork to finish it out. Vernon has agreed that the project is complete. There were a few punch list items. This is why we couldn't have it on the last meeting, but those have now been completed. I've submitted everything to NOTA on the grant except just this affidavit tonight and proof that we made this final payment, and then we will be reimbursed $30,000. That was the amount of the grant.
What would you like to do, council?
Motion to approve.
Second, Wines.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Coldern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you, council. Item 16, discuss the COVID-19 pandemic. Pardon me. Anything that we want to talk about, council? Hearing none, we will move to item 17. Consider approval of professional services agreement with Easley Associates Architects in the preparation or to prepare plans and specifications for the City Hall drive-up window canopy and renovation of City Hall. We received from the CARES Act, I believe, Russ, is it $372,000, somewhere in that ballpark? Yeah. I think I
Yes.
see him shaking his head.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We received the CARES money, and that was our intent was originally to use that, back whenever it started. You know, we had a limited piece of what the CARES money could be used for, and so we were trying to find a project that would meet the scope of the state, yet still give us, usage of a lot of that money. Not that we were going to spend all $300,000 on just that piece, but we were trying to do something, to protect the employees in City Hall and to protect the citizens, for the most part, from that standpoint. And so we kind of came up with this project to do under that. Now, since then, we've been able to apply for, and we will receive all of those funds under under the emergency services agreement that the state has agreed to accept. But this is still one of those things that we've talked about for years and years, doing on City Hall. The drive-up window seems to be one of the issues that probably needs to be taken care of the most, just for safety and security and convenience of our citizens. And we thought, we talked about it ad infinitum, and we've seen 5 or 6 different drawings of what that could look like and where it could go. But Dixie and I kind of got together one day and really were looking at it, at what would make the most sense. If we were going to put a drive-up window, where would we put it? And so that's what this agreement's about, is looking at some of those options.
Thank you, Russ. Council?
So Russ, in terms of, I think you answered it, but in terms of the money we get from the CARES Act, so $372,000. So is it required a certain percentage of it goes to things like this, or are we just making that decision because you can't spend it all on whatever else there could be?
Well, so under the revised revisions from the state, we were able to use salaries and wages for police and for fire and ambulance. And we passed that resolution that said 100% of their time was dedicated to COVID between the period March 31st and July 31st. That actually could go all the way to October 31st. But we're only allotted so many dollars. And we've been reimbursed for those. We get the $350,000 or $370,000 back in our account. That is ours to do with whatever we want to do with at this point. We'd already started down this project, and talking with Dixie and Larry, and the whole group, this has always been something that we've wanted to get done. This just comes as a funding source that could let us get that accomplished.
So it's not restricted so I got a couple of questions. It's not restricted, I take it now.
Not restricted.
And then on top of that, evaluation wise, you're still going to have people want to come into the building. Yes. And I know that's been another point or really the point of contention and safety for, not contention, but the point that we've been talking about in safety for the employees. So would this drive-through versus doing something inside, or I guess what I'm getting at is more protection for the people that walk in or the drive-through, which one's truly more valuable?
I think this is for the whole building, Derek. Everything is designing this building as we want it, like you're talking about.
Yeah, the intent was to redo part of the, and Dixie, if you want to jump in here, feel free. But the intent was to change the front lobby entrance and add the drive-through kind of as a phase 1 for City Hall. Giving, instead of the way the counter runs right now, north and south, changing that counter so that it runs east and west, and kind of redo the front. We talked about putting in a bathroom up at the front, to help facilitate that so that people had no reason, to really come behind the counter for anything, unless they were invited or, we were having meetings and those kind of things. But for the most part, the general public, really 99% of the things that they needed to do could be taken care of in the front 20 foot of that building. Everything else would be City Hall employees and staff.
I guess then follow-up would be, if we make this decision to move forward, have we decided that we're staying in this building versus some of the other talk of a possible another location in the future, or what's the plans there? Well,
at this point, we really don't have a financial mechanism to make a move out of this building. We were really addressing this to begin with from the COVID standpoint, in giving the public the ability to interact, to make their payments in person, to do those kind of things, and still protect staff. So COVID was really the kicker in when we started these discussions, knowing that these care funds were out there. This was back in August when we started talking about it. We didn't have all the rules that they were going to come out with, but the more we talked about, the more excited I got about, hey, we can accomplish a couple of our goals here, and really it's on federal grant dollars. I would love to have a new city hall. I think that would be great. There's a lot of things that I think we could do from that standpoint, but the practicality of finding the funding for it and finding the ability to do that right now, it's not something that I think we just go out and can drop, $2 million on a new building.
Well, and I agree with you. That wasn't necessarily. I don't want to go drop, let's say, 100 or 200,000 in this building, and then be looking in the next. Let's say we have a great year in the next 2 years, and 3 years we're trying to move out. So I guess if we're going to make this move, are we also looking at making the bathrooms nicer and other things for the employees a little bit to make us want to stay in this building longer?
That was not in my original money intent. Because at the time, we can expand the project as big as you guys want to make it. I'm all for that. The original intent was really the protection of the girls up front and taking care of them, making sure that they were protected as far as COVID goes, and some ease of access for our customers so that they didn't have to get out of their cars. They didn't have to do those kind of things. That was the initial intent. But yes, I think long term there's a huge renovation project that needs to be done, especially if we're going to stay at City Hall for the next 20 years.
And I agree. The priorities are correct. I mean, protection and safety are first. I just want to make sure that the money we spend, we don't decide next week that we want to move out.
Right.
And Derek, even if we decided to move out, we'd still be 2.5 years away from actually moving out. Even if we had someone came and gave us $2 million right today or $3 million right today, we want to make certain that this move is, if we do it, is going to be the right thing for the future as well as now. So there's a significant lag time there between what we want to do and actually moving in.
I think I'll chime in with Derek a little bit. The safety of our immediate staff up front has been a priority for a long time, and I appreciate Derek discussing that. But we've kicked that portion of this thing far enough and long enough, and Russ has been able to come up with an opportunity for us to get something done up there. I just think that just for me spending time down here, we got these little plexiglass things up there to try to protect our ladies, and it's very ineffective, I think, whenever we had public coming in. But more so than just the COVID issue, we've been wanting to protect those ladies, period, way before the COVID issue, from the public. People throwing stuff and spitting and there's a multitude of things, and Derek and all of us, we've talked about that, and I think this is the opportunity for us to just get that front end secured so our staff feels a little more safe in their workplace, because I know that the ladies up there take a lot of heat from a lot of people.
I definitely want them to be safe. I don't, that was not.
No, I agree.
Anything.
No, I understood everything you were saying, Derek. I was with you, not against you.
So,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I see this as something that will also help if you look at the population of our community. Being able to have a drive-through helps take care of the elderly also. Some of them, it's a little bit harder for them to get in and out of their cars or things like this, and this gives them a better way to be able to interact and be able to take care of the, a different way to interact with us, as well as during COVID. Even if we were open in City Hall, not all of them feel comfortable. So this gives them a different option and avoids them having to get up and use the drop box. So I think that's a positive thing for our community also.
I don't know, Russ or Dixie or Larry, if we did this and an architect comes in and decides we're going to build this, I mean, it could be 6, 8 months, a year before we would have a drive-through even put together to be used, correct?
It will be well after the first of the year. Yes, it would be my anticipation.
The only thing I would also like to make sure we keep in mind, I've heard that, and we don't want the people back behind the counter, but some of the new abilities we have in showing people why their bill may be higher and stuff with the automated meter reading and everything else, I do want to make sure we still have a way to display maybe what the ladies are looking at on their screen out to the customer that may be standing with a window between.
For sure. And I think that'll be easily accomplished just with the secondary monitor. Literally flip around something for them to have and see, and the ladies wouldn't have to be disclosing everything that's on their terminals.
I might also add that often whenever there's something like that to show, they can print their screen and then hand the person a printout. That way they can take it home with them or share it with other people in the household to look at later if they'd like. Also, one of the goals whenever we started the AMI project was at some point to have the portal open so that citizens could look at their own accounts and monitor their own usage. We have not been able to do that until all the bugs are out of the system, and that's something we're working on. We're currently very close. Our goal right now is to have that completed by the end of this year so that we can open up that portal and allow people to sign up and have their own portal and go in and look at their own usage just as often as they wish.
So also just one thing a little bit further than even what Russ was talking about is maybe a monitor that can normally that would be in the lobby itself and normally be a kind of promotional. If we have anything like our insulation program and the different things like that would be running on it, but the ladies could connect to it and display and kind of give a training how-to if they come in to want to learn how to connect to that portal or anything like that. They could do it there on that monitor, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's easily accomplished.
Where are we headed, staff, council?
I think I want to thank Russ and Larry and Dixie. I think it's a good creative way to get started. It's not going to solve all of our problems, but if we have some federal dollar grant money and we can use some of it to protect our employees and, as Jamie said, to even assist some of our customers, I'm all in favor of it. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the agreement as stated in item 17.
Second.
Any further discussion? Thank you, Kevin. Roll call, please.
Colern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you very much. I think the staff will be happy to hear that. Item 18, consider approval of appraisal agreement with Roger Spears. Bryce?
Yeah, we will talk about all of this next month, probably at the second meeting, and we're pretty much finalizing things with respect to these properties that we need to acquire. But it's been more than a year since those appraisals are done. And we're asking them to be done in a different way, different manner. We've talked about that at previous executive sessions. And he has to go through new sales data because, a year and a half or from the time he did it, the data is not necessarily accurate. So although this is going to cost some money, we've got to have these done. We're going to then meet on all of this, hopefully in October, and then we're going to get to work to finalize them or otherwise to acquire them. the properties. The state, we've been meeting with them. They know where we are on this, but this is critical in order to move forward and obtain those properties and be able to build our spillway and auxiliary spillway. So I would ask that you approve it.
And we're planning on that coming from the Mercury Fund. What is our balance on that, Russ, right now?
We had just over $1 million in it. Give me 1 second. $1,048,460.
Okay, thank you.
Item 18, council.
Move to approve. Second.
Any further discussion or any questions for Bryce or Russ? Roll call, please.
Kildern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Steelbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Item 19, any new business that needs to come before the council this evening?
I've actually got a question on this. So we don't usually have much to say on this section, but if there's something that I'm concerned about or would like to bring up in the future, would this be appropriate to talk about it now?
Bryce can answer this, but most generally, new business is strictly for something that we found out since the agenda was posted and something that needed to be taken care of. Say there was a project that some occurrence happened and we had to amend something or do something like that, or that would actually, if you have concerns, would probably be better fit back under accommodations, proclamations, inquiries by the governing body. Am I correct,
Yeah.
Bryce?
Yes, that is correct. In fact, it would be inappropriate to talk about something under new business unless, in fact, it did come up since the posting of the agenda. But, any item that any council member wants on the agenda, they can either call me or Larry and we'll look at that and talk to them about it. I mean, that's the way. Heck, that's the way ducks got on the agenda. So, we listen and we want to tee up what you want on the agenda.
Whenever we go to your new council person's training with OML, that is one hot topic is item 19, the new business. It has strictly got to be something, and in my beginning of my council career, it was happening a little bit, and we tried to nip that. That is strictly for something that has occurred or an action needs to be taken since the agenda was posted. So it's not us as a city saying that. That's law.
Okay, it was a concern over something that we put in place already. So I will get with you all on that and explain.
All right. Well, thank you, Curtis.
Yeah.
All right. If I see no new business, we will move to item 20, the motion on the adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kildern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Steelbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Thank you, council.